pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome. Welcome everybody back tonight. Mr. Barnhart, good to see you here tonight. Glad to have you back. Glad to see you doing well. So, first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from, let's see here. Where's my dates? I had them here. I'm sorry. Can you give me the dates there?
July 9th.
July 9th. All right, so approval for the minutes of July 9th. Are there any questions, corrections? Everything okay on those? All right, so we'll approve those as submitted. Next item, report of the town manager, Mr. Warner.
Thank you, Mayor Black, members of council. Just a couple of items tonight. I do have a report on the middle school project. Just to give you an update, I spoke with Dave McCormick this morning. Quite a bit of activity on site, which hopefully is visible to everybody in the community. Dave says they are currently installing sheetrock, which is a good sign, and he's picking out paint colors, and he has ordered cabinets. He reports that he feels he is well on track to meet the identified deadlines for both the apartments and the boutique hotel. The only other thing I have to report on is I need to make a revision to tonight's agenda to add an item of new business dealing with the fiscal year 24-25 street paving schedule.
Okay, so.
And that concludes my report.
And what are the deadlines for those?
I believe we said January for the apartments and
June, I believe. What did June, I believe? End of June?
Of next year?
I was thinking it might have been April.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
He says he's on track and he'll hit it.
Right. All right. Any questions from Mr. Warner? No? Okay. Appearances before council, we have Mr. Joe Whiting signed up to speak this evening. Mr. Whiting, welcome, and come on up and just for the record, just give us your name and address and give us your thoughts.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. My name is Joe Whiting. I am the pastor of Chelmsford Baptist Church here in the county. My wife and two sons have a house on the western end out near the Jeters Chapel Road area. And I just wanted to let you know that as many people are thinking about national leaders in our country at this time, of our lives and another election year, that we, the people at Chelmsford Baptist Church, are also thinking about our local leaders, our elected leaders like you folks. And we want to say thank you for the work that you're doing and know that you have our support. And I just want to read 3 verses, if I could, to you and have a prayer for all of you, if you don't mind. Therefore, I exhort, first of all, that supplications, prayers, intercessions, and giving of thanks be made for all men, for kings, and for all who are in authority, that we may lead a quiet and peaceable life in all godliness and reverence. For this is good and acceptable in the sight of God, our Savior. Heavenly Father, bless this council, bless these members, these elected leaders, and all that support them in the work of carrying out the business of our county here in Bedford. Bless each one of them and their families, protect them from harm, protect them and keep them in good health. And I pray that you protect them as they serve you and represent the people of this good county. Bless our meeting tonight, and thank you for each one of them. We pray it in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anybody else wish to speak this evening? No? Okay. Council comments. Who wants to start? Where's Ian? Who wants to start?
Take off, Darryl.
Go ahead, Darryl.
Just thank everyone for being here. Turn it over to Councilman Carson.
Well, I don't have much either. I just want to thank everybody for being here, and thank you for that prayer. Thank you for that. We really appreciate that. And it's good to see you back. I'm glad to see you back.
Thanks.
And I hope that you're taking care of yourself and you're going to stay there with us for a while. All right, well, if there's anything we can do, you let us know. Good to have you.
So, thank everybody for being here. Thank you for the prayer. And good to see you back, Mr. Barnhart. We had missed you. And I think Mr. Warner has a birthday today, don't he?
Yeah, I guess I do that every now and again.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He does.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
I don't think we need to sing happy birthday, so.
Not this group.
And the only thing I'll tell you is I'm the oldest person my age, but that's as much as
Good deal. John, again, good to see you back. Maybe we'll get some good press. And appreciate the prayer. We need all the help we can get. For a few minutes, I've got some rather sad news to report, and I'll try my best to get through this. Some of you may remember Tom Patchett. Served on council years ago for one term, I believe, 4 years. He fell last week in his home, hit his head, and has been in Lynchburg General and now on life support. I've been in touch with his wife on a daily basis, and she told me yesterday that I needed to come down and say my goodbyes. They're going to disconnect, excuse me, the life support tomorrow. So I did, and it was not real easy. Tom and I have been high school classmates, did a number of things together. Most of the escapades and things I tell people about and my friends ask me about involve Tom and one other classmate, Bobby Owen, who passed away last year. One of the few things we talked about and never did was to go skydiving. And I since have taken that off my bucket list by strong encouragement from my wife. But we were the type, we had very similar DNA personalities that if you said something could not be done, we would investigate and be certain. But again, he was one of a kind, a great guy, served on council, a good friend. I will say these are the moments that remind you how quickly life can be taken away, and how valuable and precious your time is. Tom will leave behind a wife, a son, and a daughter. And I ask that you just keep he and his family in your prayers. Thank you.
Thank you, CJ.
Well, I'm next up on, welcome back, John. We appreciate you being here. The prayers are often, we need all the help we can get up here. There's times that it's rather trying. Couple things that I'd like to bring up. The mural in the middle of town, if you haven't seen it already, they're almost done with it. It's got a couple more little things that need to be done, but there's going to be a dedication on August the 18th. And if you haven't had time to come and look, I think we have something that's very nice and very representative of the town. The idea was to represent the people who went into service over the years from Bedford, starting in 1774 with Point Pleasant to now. The guys and girls that came back from Afghanistan and Iraq. It's a representative mural. And as I said, we hope to have a dedication on that day at 5 o'clock. I attended the Central Virginia Planning District meeting last Thursday. A couple of interesting things that came up in it was about traffic safety. They're doing some studies that and getting some reports together for the planning district that they're going to do for the town, all the towns and counties individually, to help them in applications for smart scale applications. That'll be coming out in the very, very near future to the towns and the counties that they can use in that. The other thing that was brought up was Child Care and Workforce Development Center, which I think is a really neat thing that's coming along. This is going to be part of the lab, the state lab things, and they're planning in Lynchburg to have an early learning center that will have both child care and training of child care workers. There's a real shortage of that and a real need for child care in in our area and in Lynchburg. You know, it's almost a desert for that thing. The idea of this lab is to be able to train some folks that may want to open smaller daycare centers in their own homes and let them meet the licensing requirements, which I think is an admirable situation for that. I think, I don't know whether we're going to talk about tonight cleaning up the parks, but hopefully that'll come up in the near future, that we can do some work on our, if any of you have been through our parks, they do need some work and some elbow grease applied to it. And I'll shut up now.
John, once again, welcome back. Thank you everyone for being here tonight. Reverend White, thank you for your prayer this evening. I don't really have anything. Y'all kind of covered the mural project. I mean, it's I think an exciting kind of addition to town that the get together and a private business owner have done. So look forward to seeing the final product and having that dedication. With that, there's going to be some comments from. We had 3 council committee meetings last night. Just a couple things there, and just to follow up, Mr. Warner. You know, we last meeting we talked about the tax exempt status of the Elks Lodge. I talked to Mr. Lockby today. I think everybody saw his memo, kind of explaining the situation. But we talked about timing of going ahead and putting that on as a public hearing and taking whatever action we decide to take. And so, just from the advertising standpoint, we want to add that to the agenda on the second meeting in August. Yeah.
22nd.
I'll let you figure the date. And then, like I said, as a prelude into the kind of the council of the comments, you know, we did have, or the committee comments, you know, we did have some discussion on parks last night. It's a bigger topic. It's a lot there. So I think, I talked to Mr. Warner, we just need to figure out some timing, give staff time to kind of put some stuff together for us to talk about. And then maybe whenever you think that's appropriate, sooner than, you know, as soon as you can get it together. I know we're throwing a lot at Barton, Tom and Ronnie, and because they're going to put some ideas together for parking as well. So, and maybe have a work session around that. And this, you know, take their kind of short-term recommendations and then look at some long-term, you know, planning. And just, I think both of those topics are, I mean, just in our committee meeting, we spent a couple hours last night. So, yeah. So I mean, you know, those are going to be some pretty detailed discussions, I think. And so I think we'd be best served to maybe set up a work session, you know. And it may be, Bart, we may even need to do that on an off week or something, you know. Just depending on how much time you think, because, you know, I think that's something we definitely want to try to start tackling. And then with that, I think we're next on the reported council committees. So, Stacy, you want to start public safety? Well, I mean, you can go.
But I won't comment.
No.
We did meet last night. We had the chief and we had a public works director there. We did talk about on parking downtown areas. We did talk about handicap spots and loading zones and how we can make downtown a better place to park in certain areas. And then on speeding, we did talk about Longwood and other areas in town. Longwood was talking about the speed limit, maybe narrow the 4 lanes down to 2 lanes, and talk about a project that will come. We will have in it later on in the tonight's meeting. So,
Darryl, you want to follow up with we had a joint committee meeting there, kind of streets and public safety together. So
yeah, and you know, a lot of stuff's already been touched on, but yeah, we discussed you know, kind of things trying to address downtown parking and making things a little more accessible. You know, for both you know, people with physical disabilities and people making deliveries and that kind of stuff, and downtown customers. So, and again, that's like the mayor said, that's a discussion that is going to need some planning based on our the area that we have to work with and the activities that are going on. But we're going to be moving forward with that.
All right. Thank you. Bob, property
Yeah,
committee?
we had a property meeting, and like I said, most of this has been touched on, and we talked about the parks, all of our parks, and talked about getting together and discussing what they all need to bring them up to par. Possibly getting some volunteers once we have figured out what we'll be doing in each one of these parks. They've been lax for a while, and it was nobody's fault that they were lax. It's just that we were engaged in stuff that required more of our time than that. It's not saying that we didn't know that it was there. It's just that we didn't have time to put it together like it should be, but we're hoping that we're going to be able to do that with all of our parks. Also talked about the possibility of changing the name of Edmond Street Park to the Beulah Payne Memorial Park, who was the lady that took care of that park and the kids there the whole time that it was there before it became Edmond Street. We also touched on the paving schedule, but that was pretty much it.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman Garson. All right, with that, like I said, we will, with everybody's consent, we'll add the paving schedule as a revision to the agenda under the new items. We'll go, that'll just go down under the third item down there under, at the very bottom. All right. All right, so with that, Mr. Warner, would you read the notice on the public hearing, and we'll open the public hearing.
Notice is hereby given of a public hearing to be held by Town Council at 7:00 p.m. on Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024, at the Town Municipal Building Council Hall. The purpose of this public hearing is to receive public comment on the Town of Bedford's proposed Virginia Department of Transportation, or VDOT, Smart Scale Round 6 application. Smart Scale is a VDOT program where localities can apply for state funding to improve safety, congestion mitigation, accessibility, environmental quality, and economic development in line with state transportation goals. More information about Smart Scale can be found online at smartscale.org. The Town of Bedford is considering the following Smart Scale application: roundabout at Longwood Avenue, Forest Road, and Independence Boulevard intersection. Information has been on file in the Office of Planning and Community Development, located in this building at 215 East Main Street. Anyone who wishes to provide comment or input may now do so at this public hearing.
All right, I'll open the public hearing in regard to the Bedford's proposed Virginia Department of Transportation Smart Scale Round 6 application, specifically considering following the Smart Scale application for a roundabout at Longwood Avenue, Forest Road, and Independence Boulevard intersection. Is there anybody that would wish to speak tonight in the public hearing in regards to that topic? No one? All right, with that, we'll close the public hearing. All right, we'll move into the consent agenda. These are 3 street closures.
Yeah, and if you want to take them in total, we can do it that way, or if you want
I
to.
mean, these are the 3 that
2 of them we're very familiar with. One is obviously something we're going to approve, so.
yeah, if you just want to just hit the highlights on the first 2, and then we can take
Okay.
those, and then we'll hit the highlights on the third one since it's a new one.
The first 2 are from the Central Virginia Business Coalition, so it's probably appropriate to address them together. And that deals with Centerfest, which is our major event that happens downtown and in the fall every year. Basically, they've set a date of Saturday, September 21st, from 6 a.m. until 7 p.m. to close streets, and I can read the list, but we understand, certainly on council where they are, we can provide more information. They did submit this request as well as the other for the Christmas parade, which I'll touch on in a second. Back in April, we had other events we had to get through the queue, so that's why it's coming tonight. So Town Council is requested to consider permission to close streets for Bedford Centerfest on Saturday, September 21st, 2024, from 6 a.m. until 7 p.m. Also, the Central Virginia Business Coalition sponsors the annual Christmas parade, and they are asking for street closures in the affected area, the typical route there, for Saturday, December 7th, 2024, from 11 a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. In both cases, affected businesses will be notified, as well as the police department, fire department, and county fire and rescue. Town council is also requested to consider closing streets for the Bedford Christmas Parade on Saturday, December 7th, 2024, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the request to close the streets for Centerfest and the Christmas Parade?
So moved.
Second.
So we got a Councilman Haley and then second Councilman Carson. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Carson?
Aye.
Mr. Haley?
Aye.
Mr. Johansson?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Mr. Updike?
Aye.
Mayor Black?
Aye.
Motion carries with 6 ayes.
All right,
The other consent agenda item comes from the Bedford Get Together Group. They are dedicating the mural above Centertown Plaza on Sunday, August 18th, 2024, from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., and has requested the council authorize the closing of the following streets for the event: South Bridge Street from Washington Street to Main Street, and West Main Street from its intersection with Center Street to the intersection of East Main Street and South Street. Tonight, Town Council is requested to close the above streets for dedicating the mural above Centertown Plaza on Sunday, August 18th, from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
so we have a motion to close the streets.
moved.
All right.
Second.
And got one, motion by Councilman Johansson and a second by Councilman Updike. Any discussion?
One question, because they said they would close East Main Street, West Main Street, and South Bridge Street. What about North Bridge Street? Because North Bridge is going to flow right into all that.
Well, we talked about that internally, that really North Bridge Street, we probably don't need to close the entire length of that as well, and we may want to keep a lane open, given the primary route markers and the fact that there could be
Okay, I'll
emergency
just
vehicles.
ask you.
However, if Bedford Get Together thinks they need that block as well, you can certainly consider that.
All right, any other questions? No? All right, roll call.
Mr. Haley?
Aye.
Mr. Johansson?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Mr. Updike?
Aye.
Mr. Carson?
Aye.
Mayor Black?
Aye.
Motion carries with 6 ayes.
All right, moving right along, into new business, resolution for the VDOT Smart Scale, Round 6 grant application, for the roundabout. Mr. Warren?
After some years of discussion, in 2020, the town worked with the Central Virginia Planning District Commission to have an engineering traffic study performed that analyzed the safety and efficiency of the intersection of Longwood Avenue, otherwise known as Route 122, Forest Road, which is designated as Route 221, and Independence Boulevard, which is the southern portion of Route 122, including Valley View Road. Essentially, this is the intersection we affectionately identify as the Forks, and it's where Forks Country Restaurant is located. The results of that study, performed by Clark Nexon with public input, concluded 2 alternatives to help safety and traffic flow under current and future conditions. The final study, released in April 2021, after council reviewed the draft in March 2021, called out 2 alternate solutions. Alternative 1 was a right turn lane from Longwood Avenue onto Independence Boulevard that would clear traffic to move eastbound to Forest Road more efficiently. This was a short-term solution that would not fully address all safety and traffic volume issues into the future. Alternative 2 was a new all-inclusive roundabout that would include all roads coming into the intersection. The recommendations in the traffic study noted that based on existing conditions and future projections, Alternative 2 would be the ideal option for future roadway needs that will enhance safety while accommodating future capacity. This alternative improves traffic operations in the future years with levels of service better than existing, while also improving safety by reducing potential intersection conflicts. While Alternative 2 is significantly more expensive than Alternative 1, it would provide a more complete and long-term solution for both vehicular and pedestrian traffic operations with a level of service of B for the year 2045. The roundabout solution was known to be a long-term endeavor, and council discussed options for moving forward and for paying for it. The only funding option that would pay for the full project was determined to be Smart Scale from the Virginia Department of Transportation, or VDOT, which works through an even-numbered 2-year funding cycle. The next cycle would have been 2022. At its meeting on November 14th, 2023, council discussed the roundabout solution after a presentation and recommendation from VDOT that showed other uses of roundabouts in the local VDOT area. Council decided to pursue the smart scale funding at that time and authorized applying for the pre-application that will be due in April of 2024 ahead of the final application due in August 2024 in order to get in the 2-year funding cycle, understanding that any approved funding would be many years away. Staff have been working closely with VDOT since that time. VDOT has provided its engineering resources to prepare the required designs for the intersection that were submitted with the pre-application and now the full application. The project was cleared through the Smart Scale pre-application review process to allow it to move forward with a full application submission. As part of the Smart Scale application, VDOT requires a resolution of support from the locality that is submitting the application after a public hearing is held. The attached resolution states council's support of the application and would also authorize staff to sign application forms if needed. Tonight, Town Council is requested to adopt the attached resolution in support of the submittal of an application for smart scale funding, authorizing staff to sign as needed. Understand that at this point, we are applying for funding in a VDOT administered grant program that is a statewide competitive grant. The fact that we are applying does not mean that the application will be successful.
All right. Do we have a motion to adopt the resolution to move ahead with the
So
smart
moved.
traffic?
Second.
All right, discussion, questions. We got Jared here from the engineer, town engineer. You've got a site plan in your package. You know, this has obviously been a project that we have been talking about for a good while, and this is the next step in moving the process forward. You know, like Mr. Warner said, this is a state competitive funding project. The state will be, you know, if we're awarded the project, the state will be funding it. You know, and it would go on, I guess, probably the 6-year plan. So this is obviously a long-term project. It's looking at this site plan here, it's a massive project, and it's going to be, you know, probably very costly. But at the same time, the state is got this grant program, and we're going to try to take advantage of it. And you know, this intersection is becoming more and more problematic.
Yes, big time.
With the growth in the forest area coming this way, with the you know, with our own growth here in town, and so you know, looking at the long-term solution, you know, I think this is, in my opinion, is kind of the best solution. Of course, it's changed. We all recognize that. It'll take some getting used to, but you know, this is predicting to make that intersection be efficient, safe, effective, out to 2045 with a B grade, which means it's doing pretty good from doing what it's supposed to do to move traffic through that area. So, you know, doing nothing is going to speed up the time where that intersection is going to fail. We're going to have people backing up more and more, and it's just going to become, you know, like I said, more problematic. I did have a couple of maybe quick questions, Jerry, on the site, the design plan here, just to make sure I'm understanding what kind of this table looks like. If you wouldn't mind coming up, maybe just for a second. I know you got a copy of it. Like I said, this is a massive project. It goes Independence, you know, it goes down. Looks like it goes. So coming into town, it's going to kind of almost extend all the way out to that. If you're going out of town, it's the first intersection to turn into Food Line. Is that so? It's going to come that way, right? That's right. And then it's going to take into effect the problems we've had for that Valley View Drive neighborhood, for people being able to get in and out of that area. So that's going to kind of solve that problem. You know, I guess down Longwood Avenue Extension. About how is that Beacon Credit Union, or yeah, that's probably Beacon Credit Union there, where where the shaded area goes that way. And the same thing on the other way, it kind of goes all the way past Beacon Credit Union, and then it comes down pretty good ways on Independence. It's kind of no landmarks there. It's past, does that come all the way past? I guess that's Dominion. So it's even coming, is it almost getting to Shady Knoll? Would you say
No.
close?
It's
Or-
passive, I believe.
Actually, it's not that far.
Or not that far. It's getting closer to CBC entrance. Probably, maybe, not even that far, is it? Okay, all right.
No, not that.
All right, so I'm just trying to help visualize, help people visualize it, you know, too, that, like I said, this is a pretty big deal. So over here on your chart, it's talking about the adjacent property owners. Of course, the temporary easement section, you know, the amount of temporary easement, that's considered a construction easement while the construction's going on. So that's not a permanent easement, correct? Okay. And then the right-of-way take, that's the ones that VDOT would have to make this project fit, they would have to take some of that land.
That's correct.
Okay, but they handle that, they handle all those negotiations, and, or is that, or will we have a role in that?
Part, somewhere along the line, just notifications, you know, negotiations and things of that nature, but, yeah, they'll spearhead the process.
Okay.
Whoever's administering it from their behalf.
And so really looking at that chart, of how much right-of-way take, I mean, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parcels, but 5 of those are very, very small pieces. But the one is a decent amount, but that's the one on the corner, right? Or it actually faces Independence, is that correct?
In section 21. Yeah, kind of somewhat at the intersection, that's.
Is it show on here, is that's not the blue line, no, it's not the blue line. It doesn't really show what portion of that, does it? Because it's into the corner there, obviously, that the red line's the boundary line, correct?
Of the roadway.
Oh, that's the proposed, yeah.
So the green part is just the green space, the grass that, you know, will have to be included, just for vehicles to completely
Right.
make that turn and to have some buffer zone, as required. Drainage will be, factored in there as well, so that's, I think that, is what causes that particular parcel to be larger than the others, is
So that
some of the
blue-
stormwater
right.
runoff factors.
That's what that big blue on that section is,
Yes.
that's the stormwater
Right.
retention ponds and stuff, okay. All right, I just wanted to make sure, kind of, I understood, you know, what, has anybody else got any questions for Jared on the site? This is not a final plan, this is just pretty much a concept plan at this point, correct?
It's a concept, you know, VDOT hired some consultants, to kind of run through this and just look at the feasibility of it, you know, given the geometry and the vehicles that we're seeing used at this intersection. And this is how they made it fit, so,
Okay.
it's tight, but it's doable. Obviously, it's gonna take a little bit of additional right of way from some adjoining parcels. But again, those are conversations we'll have down the road,
Right,
once the
if we get-
application's in the pipeline.
Right.
But this is what would have to take place in order for it to,
So I do have one question. On the electrical lines, would that be included in the project, or would that be
Yeah,
something
I
that
think
we
they-
would have to do?
Yes, sir, they allow, I believe, 600K for utility relocation, that includes, power pole relocations, you know, varying lines if need be, so, they did come up with a specific plan that they did account for it, I think it was 600K if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Okay.
One other question, I think I understood it correctly, and I think you just answered it. By looking at this, you're saying it's doable, but I was thinking the representatives last year said a study would be made to make sure that it's.
That's that.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I mean, I'm in support of it, and
If it's approved.
the best option, yeah.
And process-wise, let me interject a thing. If we are granted an award in the application, we'll have to accept that too. So
Okay.
this is not
Yeah,
a commitment, this is we are willing to consider it, and if
Yeah.
okay,
they say they'll give it to us, then we have to decide, we'll
Okay.
turn them loose to do it.
Yeah, but you don't typically want to.
And even then, as the mayor mentioned, that puts us in the 6-year plan, so
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the next step, if we were awarded, it would be a whole lot more engineering study and design work and all that stuff.
Yes.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, that's kind of what I
Yeah.
was after,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, good.
So if anybody's really excited and in favor of this thing, what we tell them is not going to happen for a while,
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
We're talking 5 or 6 years from now,
probably.
at least.
at least.
June 25, we'll see how it racks and stacks against the other projects that were submitted, and the CTP, the Commonwealth Transportation Board, will add it to the 6-year plan.
If we approve it.
We'll see, we'll have a more definitive timeline at that point.
Okay.
Theoretically by 2031, but some things in the 6-year plan are currently delayed too, so.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Thank you, Jared.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
No questions, comments? All right, so we got a motion and a second, roll call?
Mr. Haley?
Aye.
Mr. Johansson?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Mr. Updike?
Aye.
Mr. Carson?
Aye.
Mayor Black?
Aye.
Motion carries with 6 ayes.
All right. The next item is a resolution accepting the road dedication on-time road. Mr. Warner?
Yeah, Mayor Black, members of council, this is kind of a housekeeping item that relates to the Winoa area redevelopment that the town EDA has been instrumental in pushing forward and that Chairman Jonathan Buttram presented in some detail at a previous meeting. On-Time Road is an existing private road on the western end of town that connects Abrasive Avenue to the Bison printing plant. Since its construction, the VDOT standards in the early 2000s, the intent has been to bring this road into the town's secondary street system as a public road for inclusion in the VDOT road funding program. On-Time Road was included in the area of the July 1, 2023 Phase 2 boundary adjustment. The Town Economic Development Authority has been working with the seller of the former Winoa USA, also formerly known as Wheelabrator Fry facility, to receive that property for a metal workforce training center. As part of that conveyance from Winoa to the EDA, the existing road must be conveyed from both Bison, which is Ascent LLC, and Winoa, as the road is currently on those parcels. There is a plat that shows the area of the road with drainage improvements and public utility easements. There is also a deed from Winoa and Ascent that dedicates those existing public infrastructure items to the town. The deed refers to the town manager. That needs to be changed to the mayor. The deed needs to be signed by the town council to formally accept the dedication of the road and related infrastructure. This deed has been reviewed by the town attorney. Once accepted, the next step will be to have VDOT acknowledge the road as part of the town system at a future date. VDOT has been aware of this and involved in the review of this request since 2021. There is also a lift station identified in the area of the survey that would ultimately be conveyed to the Bedford Regional Water Authority, and that's part of this review and approval as well. Again, this is kind of the last administrative hurdle to clearing the area for the redevelopment. Tonight, Town Council is requested to adopt the resolution to authorize the mayor to sign the deed of dedication for On-Time Road and related infrastructure.
All right, do we have a motion to adopt the resolution accepting the road dedication?
Second.
All right, and we got a motion by Councilman Haley, a second by Councilman Carson. The language is in the resolution, does have the mayor in there, I did notice that. I talked to Mr. Buttram this afternoon, chairman of the EDA, let him know that, he knew this was on the agenda tonight. Like I said, this is just one of the, finalizing one of the conditions under the transfer of this property to the EDA. This has been a long time coming. Even back before this project started, this was a kind of a sticky thing. This road was, and I know Ascent and Mr. Bizer appreciate all the time and effort they put into trying to help this come to fruition too, and going to be beneficial for them and for the town. So, like I said, I talked to Jonathan. We take this up tonight. They're still hoping to try to maybe get closed by the end of this week. I think it might have been one last little change that they were FedExing back and forth, but they're going to try to shoot for getting this project done and moving to the next step. So, anybody got any questions or?
This is the road that runs in front of Wanoa, across the tracks, and it's,
And up the hill,
yeah,
yeah.
up the hill there, okay. But it's nothing else up there, or,
And accepting this into the public road system would also allow Bison to pursue plans for subdivision if they ever entertain that.
okay, yeah, okay, thanks, thank you.
One day I have to say is, I think this will be a great project that's coming to the town. I think it's gonna benefit this town in the future down the road.
All right. Anybody else? Any questions? No. All right, roll call.
Mr. Johansson?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Mr. Updike?
Aye.
Mr. Carson?
Aye.
Mr. Haley?
Aye.
Mayor Black?
Aye.
Motion carries with 6 ayes.
All right, and then the last item that we added to the agenda is the list of projects that's been identified for paving in this fiscal year. And we need to get this kind of approved so they can get going to work.
Correct.
Paving done.
As part of the annual budget process, town staff, in consultation with VDOT, develops a paving schedule of specific streets to be resurfaced and repaired within each fiscal year. Giving the timing of the adoption of the fiscal year 24-25 budget, as well as the schedule for adding additional streets to the town's network as part of the 2023 boundary adjustment, the proposed street paving list was developed later than usual. The town has completed the appropriate procurement process for performance of the approved list. Streets Committee met on July 22nd, 2024, and recommended that the town formally adopt the attached list of streets to be paved during the fiscal year 24-25 fiscal year. And I will note that as part of the boundary adjustment and the streets we took in, we will be receiving an additional $400,000 in maintenance funding from VDOT. So while this is our proposal to the qualified vendor to do as much paving as we anticipate would be needed in the fiscal year, we'll revisit that probably in January, and then probably look at adding to that list and seeing how we're doing on the process and progress thereof, as well as using additional funding. So this gets us turned loose to get started on what we want to already do, but there's probably more work forthcoming.
So, do we have a motion to approve the paving list?
So moved.
Second.
We got a motion by Councilman Updike, second by Councilman Carson. Just real quick, just one the thing we talked about a little bit. Some of these roads are paving projects, or some where VRWA has done some major working on a couple of these roads, and so there could be some potential there where they may have share some of that cost for repairing the roads that they've cut, but that could also free up some. Maybe a little bit of additional cash. We'll just have to see how that all plays out. Second thing, Mr. Warner, in the past, or how do we notify at least the affected property owners, or is there a way? I know timing is kind of whenever, but I mean, at least from maybe a Facebook post, a website, as much as if we could get that list out there, get it to Mr. Barnhart.
I'll ask our contractor to coordinate with Woody Watts, who's our communications consultant, to help us get that work.
Right, because like I said, it's a pretty big list compared to what we've been kind of seeing.
And I know we did catch some of our new neighbors unawares with some of the work we did.
Right,
last year,
so, yeah, whatever you can do on that communication plan, that I think would help too, just so that people kind of know it's coming. They may not know exactly when it's coming, but they know it's kind of, and that'll be kind of after you've coordinated with the paving contractor, obviously, of what his schedule kind of looks like. But anyway,
I think we're good.
we're good? All right.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Mr. Updike?
Aye.
Mr. Carson?
Aye.
Mr. Haley?
Aye.
Mr. Johansson?
Aye.
Mayor Black?
Aye.
Motion carries with 6 ayes.
All right, with that, we're adjourned.
Good deal.